America's most coveted honor, the Mel Hosansky Award for Distinguished Service. For 37 years, IACC has annually acknowledged one individual who, over the course of his or her career, has made some of the most significant contributions to IACC in the industry. You can see on the screen the names of previous winners of this award, the titans of our industry, the founders and the stewards who helped build, shape, and lead the organization. To present this year's winner, please welcome IACC CEO Mark Cooper and Special Americas guest Lothar Bowman, past president of IACC Europe and global board director. Let's give it up. Come on up, gentlemen.
Thank you. Down here.
Okay.
Here we go. On stage again with Mr. Cooper.
And
Isn't it nice?
We're going to present this on behalf of the wonderful Nancy Lindemer again. And Nancy, I hear, is watching us on Facebook at the moment. So all I can say is, Nancy, I was supposed to have this evening off. I was going to have a nice dinner with a few industry friends. Sean Anderson, if you're watching. I was also supposed to have the later evening off as well, to go gambling and playing craps with a few industry friends. And today we've been talking about people and work-life balance. And I'm not so sure. We need to sit down and talk about this. But seriously, what an illustrious list of names of those that have stepped up and achieved this award, of which there is a wonderful Ellen Sinclair in the room tonight, and my co-pilot, Lothar Bowman, last year's recipient as well. So congratulations, thank you for being an important part of our history. So, here's the opportunity to celebrate one more worthy recipient for this distinguished award. And it's a very high honour indeed. In fact, the highest for the Americas chapter. And boy, do we have a big one to recognise tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So, now it never takes too long for these folk that sit at the tables to realise that we're talking about them. For it to become clear, now when they come up on stage, to be deservedly honoured. So hang in there with me. That's Nancy's words. There is so much to say about this person tonight, right, Lotta?
Yes, it is.
So let's go with some of the stats, some of the ones that may have you guessing at the moment. So this individual is a robust supporter of all conferences. I'd like to go so far as to say infamous at many conferences. Here in the Americas, in Europe, in Australia, Asia, Pacific. We won't ask which one is their favourite chapter conference. Well, maybe not until later on when there's looser lips. An initial contributor in the group who decided to create that brand around IACC, the thought leader for the small to mid-sized meetings venues, the meeting room of the future. And I remember those first conversations when we would say, you know, how do we position IACC to be the very best, that top 1% of meeting venues? And that's where the meeting room of the future came from. And it's now a backbone of our association. He supported that project both intellectually, financially, and strategically. A major influencer in our establishment of the MPI strategic partnership way back, Jesse, when we met in this very city, down at the Venetian, and we came together and we've been best of friends ever since. That person was at the table then, and that was a spark that created that relationship. Now, some stats that might make the picture a little bit clearer for all of us. This person served on the Americas board from 2009 through to 2020, 12 years leadership on our board. And if anyone was ever in the exec meeting with this person in this very fine city, all I can say is it had to start off with bacon at Bouchon. chair of the IACC 2.0 task force in 2011 to 2012. That created the path forward for what this association stands for today. It needed changes, it needed challenges, and this organisation's position needed to shift substantially. And that is why it is what it is today and as healthy as it is today. Global Board of Director member from 2012 to 2019, 8 years, 4 years at the helm of global president. I have to smile at the 4 years because that was never intentional, and I get reminded of that very, very often. So we reached out to a couple of people, as you would for this award, that know this person really well. And I would like to start with my friend, my colleague, Lotta Bowman, who's going to share some thoughts on this person and the influence that they've had on her life.
Yes. And the first thing I came up with was a few things that has stuck to my mind. And there are a few quotes that I never forget. It's like shock and awe. It's like fewer things done better. Drive member engagement. IACC representing the top 1% of meeting facilities globally. Nowhere else in the world is a group like this gathered so passionate about meetings. And something that this very special person started every meeting with, and that I could quote in my sleep, I think. We are mightier together than apart, belonging to community versus going it alone. I think he knows who he is. And all of these have held to the test of time, and I still get really excited when I hear them. So me and Mark, we also have some other persons being involved in this, of course.
They wanted to have their say, right?
Yes. So Nancy, she also shared, he believes in people. This is a human that is so genuine and authentic in everything he does with others. He listens, he questions to understand, he supports and looks for ways to lift up those around him. When you are around him, you feel a contagiously passionate belief in IACC and this amazing network. Mark.
Thank you, Lotta. And Susan Liston shared, this person exemplifies the definition of a servant leader. He engages with his employees and colleagues at every single level. It's never just about senior leadership, but in the frontline staff who take care of our customers. They are intentional, and they have amazing, amazing listening skills. They remain focused in conversations and meetings, never easily distracted, never on the phone, never on their laptop multitasking and checking messages, which is particularly amazing considering the role and the responsibilities that this person carries.
Yes. And Sean Anderson, who we all know, he says, they have a genuine love for IACC. You might assume, given their relationship with the organization, that he should, but his commitment runs deep, sincere, and seems endless. I love his positive energy, which if you have spent an iota of time with him, you can see that energy in everything he does.
This person embodies everything that is good and amazing about our wonderful industry, hospitality. Yes, we know this is a business, but it's always been a business of people. No matter what his role has been, he leads, he supports, and he inspires people first, before everything else, and probably before himself. IACC is the organisation that it is today because of the influence of this people and those who have stood and received this award in the past, but certainly in today's era because of this person. It's been my pleasure to step into the shoes of Nancy this evening, and Lotta has of others, to share this in her words. I know I missed some of the specific references to sports associations and US football teams and stuff like that, which I could never pull off. And I certainly would never fill Nancy's shoes. But I hope I've done her justice there. So now I'm going to speak for myself. So the gloves are off a little bit here. His skill during the IACC 2.0 task force time, when I was actually on that task force as well, was that skill was to offer a reassuring balance between never forgetting and respecting and valuing the past, the rich history and the success that IACC had got, whilst navigating a few sensitivities along the way, but that ability truly to instill confidence and others to take risks, particularly here in the Americas chapter as well. He was a change monster, which I will never, ever forget. Well, not personally, but he used that model, and it worked. He, along with Sean Anderson, our dearly missed Leslie van der Sweat, TJ Famano, Pete Stockman, they all came and brought back to their chapter the confidence and the desire for IACC to change, like no one else that I believe could have done what he did. Now, Peter Stewart, for those of you who remember him, he let the data and the facts talk. This person led with hearts and minds. And it worked. The two worked, but two very different dynamics. My first day as CEO was the 12th of October 2012 in this very city, and the night before I met the Americas board as their newly appointed CEO, this person took me to the Cosmopolitan. He brought me back from the Cosmopolitan about 1 o'clock in the morning during a thunderstorm, of which I fell asleep in the car. And all I can say was it was an interesting morning for many reasons. And luckily, I was probably a little bit numbed to some of the conversations that took place. But what a ride it's been then and since then. Number one tip to anybody working with him, do not let him go hungry. Do not let this person go hungry. Do not take him out running without explaining some of the sensitivities of your native plants if it's not from this country. Because he met stinging nettles in the English countryside, and all I remember was he rang me from his hotel at Heathrow and said, I've been scrubbing my legs to try and get the sting out, and it's not going, Mark. Now, Alex, before we call you on stage, I would like to welcome a special person in your life to help us present this award to you. Please welcome Alex's incredible wife, Heather, mother of sons Eli and Matthew. Please help me, Heather, in giving this award tonight. Come on up. Oh, no. He's got to come to us, Heather. This is how it works. Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2022 recipient of the Mel Hosansky Award for Distinguished Service goes to CEO of Benchmark Hospitality, my dear friend, Alex Cabanas.
Well, when you want to figure out if you're worth anything, hang around with these people. this association's given more to me than I've ever given to it. I mean, really, you had to do that. It was like a half fucking hour. I mean, really? I mean, I don't know how to live up to that. I really, all of it was true, for sure. Thank God I stayed awake in that cab, because we'd all be dead in the desert if one of us had not stayed awake when Mark had his first day as CEO. Look, this association, the easiest quote, which you did not share, Lotta, was, you get out of it what you put into it. I always repeated that one. Because, people sit around in this room and many first-time attendees, people who maybe haven't been a part of the association for that long, think, well, what does it do for me, right? What's the commercial value, right? How do I go home and explain why I went to this event? And having been a part of the association for most of my career at Benchmark, I can tell you it's produced more commercial value than any other investment in any other association or any other conference ever, combined. And I go to lots of conferences and lots of other associations and events. It's produced more international friendships than anything else in my career or my life. And I mean meaningful friendships, not just like, people you might know, but people you genuinely root for, that you want to be a part of, that you know where they are, and they know your family. She told me the housekeeper was there today, by the way. And you would think I would know this, because this is like the plan. This is like the Mel Hosansky plan. You fly in your wife, all that stuff. Yeah, right. Yeah. Didn't think about it all. I'm a dumbass. I mean, seriously, did not think about this shit all day. I'm just cursing. It's cool. It's fine. We're good. We're good. We're all adults in this room. So way more commercial value, international partnerships, definitely more hangovers than any other association, by far, for sure. But genuine relationships, genuine interest, genuine care. I've known more about my competition than ever out of this association, by far, right? Because you're here, and you can find out what's going on. You can find out what's happening in business. One of my favorite things this conference has been hearing, particularly from European colleagues, how quickly business is coming back. So you get out of IACC what you put into it. That incredibly impressive thing is the least important thing I've gotten from this association, because I'm incredibly honored, because I love this place, and I love this association, so I'm honored, but that's not relevant. What's relevant is everything that I just described that impacts everybody within my organization and impacts my family and my business. And if you don't get that, I don't know, you probably shouldn't be in the room. But if you're questioning, well, what more can I do? Well, just raise your hand, and you'll be shocked at what the organization can do for you while you're trying to figure out what to do for it. If you're motivated for getting a big giant hunk of glass, then you're probably in the wrong place. But if you're motivated by learning an international community, engaged with people that you genuinely will love and care for the rest of your career, potentially finding your next job or your next new hire or the next business opportunity that you would have otherwise never known had you not been in this community, right? And learning, networking, understanding this business, then you're in the right place, because it doesn't exist anywhere else, as you said. And I can't believe you're fucking here. I mean, really. She lied to me earlier. 22 years, she didn't lie. We don't lie to each other. This just doesn't happen.
Did not lie. I just let
I mean, technically the housekeeper was at the house, but you did say she was here, which here meant she wasn't in Vegas.
There was a housekeeper in my room.
Yeah. Did I tell y'all she's smarter than me? All right, so gosh, you know, the IACC playbook is so predictable, and yet I can't even figure it out right in this very moment, right now. So my wife, Heather, 22 years, she's my FP triple W, favorite person in the whole wide world. And she does know this community because she's been to multiple European conferences. And so this is not foreign to her. And to Australian conferences. Yep. So bring your family along because it matters. The family and the spouses and partners in our business matter because without them, how do we get to go and do what we do? So thanks for being here, baby. I love you very much. And there's nothing more to say. Like, I'm honored. I love this community. I love this place. I love this association. So thank you all very much.
Good morning. Well done. I think they take it.
He just asked who was home with the kids.
Take a picture.
Here we go.